Welkom terug. Nou kyk, ek dink die hele wêreld kan doen met meer goeie nuus en ook die goeie nuus raak te sien. Nou Brent Lindeque van the Good Things Guys vanoggend hier en dis juist waaroor ons gesels. Dankbaarheid vir die dinge om jou. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. What an honor to be on the show this morning speaking about good things.
It is our absolute pleasure. And how, you know what, there's no better way to start a Monday than with some good news. But before we delve into that good news, let's speak about the Good Things Guy. Where did it start, the idea? Why do you do it?
Yes, so it's been 11 years now. 11 years ago, there was something that started down in Australia. It was called neck nominations. It was the first online trend that used social media as a catalyst to grow itself. So the whole idea was simple and quite silly. Drink as much as you possibly could, neck, which is, in Australia, it means to down a drink. So drink as much as you possibly could. Do something silly, and in the process, video yourself and nominate people to outdo what you were doing. I was watching this trend from here in South Africa. Millions of people around the world were joining this really silly trend. And I was watching it from here, and I just thought to myself, why weren't people using social media to do something, I don't know, better?
Wow.
Kinder, more inspirational. So it was a Friday, I got to my desk, I got nominated to join this trend, and instead of drinking, I decided to commit a random act of kindness. I filmed myself, put it up onto social media, without any expectation. I was like, maybe it would inspire one or two of my friends, who knows? And it blew up. It went viral around the world. It inspired millions of people to turn their neck nomination to what became a RAK nomination, so Random Acts of Kindness. And that's when the Random Acts of Kindness movement was born here in South Africa.
Wow.
That planted the seed for me to start sharing good things, because all of a sudden I was thrust into this world where I was hearing about everybody's good news, right? All of these random acts of kindness, people in corporate doing good things. And nobody at the time, or I couldn't find at the time, anybody that was telling these stories. So that's where it started. It took me a year to sort of get Good Things Guide to an actual publication, a little blog. The idea was to share one good news story with South Africa every single day. 10 years later, and we share as a team up to 150 stories every week. 150, I just saw your face. You were like, what? Good, that much good news? 150 stories every week, and we reach about 30 million South Africans on a monthly basis. So that's the story of how Good Things Guy was born.
The one thing that stands out in the story is the fact that you have to reset your mind. Die mens moet anders dink oor jou reaksie, oor die stimulante buitekant. Things that stimulate your mind, you just have to reboot that and say, I'm choosing not to go the negative route.
Yeah.
I'm choosing the optimistic side.
And that is our daily life, right? So in South Africa, especially in South Africa, we are inundated on a daily basis with the hardest of news.
Yes.
I like to say on social media, the news is newsing all the time. But that's not the only story we have. It's not the only news that's being shared.
And then we're not ignoring the
No,
hard
not
news.
at all. Not at all. You got to know what's going on around you.
Yes.
Because that's how we fix it. That's how we get involved. That's how we become active citizens. But if we only focus on one side of the story, our brains do something very scary where we start to live almost only in a state of fear. And the choices we make when we are in a state of fear are very opposite to the choices we can make when we are more hopeful, when we have a bit of balance, when we can see a different perspective to the world around us.
I love that, and I think it is so important that we also focus on the positive, and that's what we're going to do. We've got 3 stories to quickly go through, and we're starting this morning with the Polaroid image. Tell us about that story.
So I chose this story, and the stories that we're speaking about today are sort of the most read in the last month on Good Things Guy. Wonderful Kumalo, he graduated as a doctor last year, and he and his mom, he'd always spoken about going into the medical field, becoming a doctor, but tragically, his mother passed away in grade 11, which, my dad passed away a couple of years ago. When you lose a parent, you can understand how big that is in your life and how you may tend to feel like they're missing your milestones along the way. But thanks to AI, and I know we're a little bit afraid of AI sometimes, thanks to AI, Wonderful was able to get a picture of his mom at his graduation. Even though she couldn't be there, I guess she was there because when we lose a parent, they're around us all the time. But this is a memory that he can hold on to going, look, Mom, look what I did. I did this for you. And I just think it's really beautiful that we can use technology like this to do things that aren't scary. That's AI. It's good for some things. I
That's
think.
good for something. Then we have to speak about Duma. Duma is hailing after
Yes.
40 years in captivity. 40 years!
40 years. So Duma's actual name was Charlie, and a lot of people knew Charlie's story. Captured when Charlie was just 2 years old, put into a circus, and from a circus got moved into a zoo, and was basically in captivity for over 40 years. 40 years. But thanks to the EMS Foundation, government and global experts, and a petition that was created. It took a couple of years to get to the point where Charlie, who's now named Duma, was set free last year. And we did an update story this month about Charlie/Duma and how he's gone on to absolutely thrive in the wild. He's currently in a smaller boma, a lot bigger than he was at the zoo.
Yes.
And experts believe that within a couple of weeks, he's going to be able to go into the majority side of this reserve.
Wow.
And he'll be able to then decide if he wants to meet the other herd or not. He's got the option now, which
freedom.
is beautiful to see, the freedom and how he is thriving in that space.
You know what? There are a few things that I love about the story. His freedom, how many people actually work together to make this happen, and then also a group of people that decided to stand up for the right of one animal eventually until they actually gave him their freedom.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there is a space for zoos. We need them. But in this case, they called Charlie, got named one of the saddest elephants in the world because he was alone. He didn't really have. And now it's a completely different story. And it's all thanks to those things that you just mentioned.
I absolutely
Look at the
love
difference.
that, yes.
Yeah, a whole new
Wow,
elephant.
it's a new elephant. That's beautiful.
And then lastly, of course, such a lovely South African, I'm going to call it product, that's also now overseas, our Drakensberg Boys Choir.
So I love the talent in South Africa,
Yes.
and I love our choirs, and we've got a lot of them. I mean, we've seen them on the global stage. America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. They've been on these stages. The Drakkies Boys Choir, as they call themselves, recently left for Scandinavia, and just before they went on this Europe trip at ORT, I don't know if it was planned. I don't have the know-how or the background story, but they did an impromptu sort of performance for everybody at the airport. And that's the video that went viral this month. And it was so beautiful to see because they were giving back just to random people that were waiting at the airport. Just before they went on this global tour to Europe to go put our talent back on that global stage.
Yes.
I do have news though.
Yes.
They're coming back tomorrow. So the 30th of September, they'll be arriving back at ORT at 10 o'clock in the morning. If you have a bit of time, if you're able to get down to the airport, I have a little in there that there might be another little impromptu performance happening at the airport tomorrow.
I love that. Thank you for sharing your little in with us this morning.
Groot plezier.
And it is wonderful to start on Monday with some feel-good stories. Thank you so much for what you and the team do to just lift the spirits of South Africans every single day. And thank you for visiting us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. The vibe at the studio is really lekker. And I can't wait to come back and share more good news with you.
Well, we can't wait either. Dit is natuurlijk Brent Lindeque with the Good Things Guy. Gaan kyk ook op hulle webwerf, dan kan jy al die stories lees. En môreoggend, lughawe 10:00, dan hoor jy dalk 'n liedjie of twee. Bly skakel ons nou weer terug.